Okay, we're up to Kufyud Amid Aleph. Kufyud Amid Aleph. Very interesting daf. Ahu shtara dehavik sivbe shnin stama. There was a star. The guy's a mashkanta de surah. Again, we're familiar with the mashkanta de surah. A person has a halva, and you give him your mashkin, and he's taking the payris. He's working the payris off, and at the end of the amount, the set amount, then the loan is paid off. Okay, Kufyud Amid Aleph, and 4 lines down. So that we're speaking about a mashkanta de surah, and this is a way of paying off a loan. You'd work the land, you'd dig the payers, and at the end of that, the loan's paid off. So now we have a klukei deis as to what it just says in the shtar. It says shnin. It just says years. Milva oimas shalosh. The Malva says it's for 3 years. I have rights to eat the payers here for 3 years. And loiva over shtayim. And the loiva says that what? No, it's over in 2 years. So again, it says years, which is plural, at least 2. And the Malva is saying 3, I get an extra year. And the loiva says what? No, in fact, it was only what? It was only 2 years. The milva, and the milva goes ahead, and what does he do? Vachlinu leperi, and he goes ahead and he eats the payers of the 3rd year. He eats for a full 3rd year. So that is the subject. That year is the suffix. That year is the one in question. And now he's asking, and he went ahead and he ate it. He went ahead. Yankel, we're on Kuf Yud Amid Aleph. We're doing the case of 4 lines down. So he went ahead and he ate it. So now, mi neman, who is believed? Now again, in any suffix of mammon, we look for who is the muhsik fellas. Again, what's the rule of thumb? Whoever's muhsik, the other person is what? It's not moitzi mechaveroi alav lahevi aram. Any suffix mammon, you have a shaila what? Moitzi mechaveroi alav lahevi araya. Okay. So Rabbi Yehuda says, karka becheskas baila kaimi. The karka is in the chazaka of the loiva. Pini on kuf yud, we're 7 lines down. And the karka is in the chazaka of the loiva, and therefore I guess he'd have to pay him for the payris that he ate. And Rav Kana Amar payris becheskas oichlin kaima. The payris is in the chazaka of the oichlein, the one that ate it. In other words, it's the malva does not have to pay him. He does not have to pay him for the payris. The hilchas hakabasid Rav Kahana. And the halacha is in conjunction with Rav Kahana. Dama peiris becheskas oichlei kaima. So here's your shaila. You have a mashkanta de surah. They're working off a loan, and a mashkin. The Malva says he can be there for 3 years. The Levi said only 2 years. You have a shtar that says years, so there's no way to be mevarin in the shtar. What's the halacha? Machlokes. Machlokes says of Yehuda, the law is with the Levi. He's the chazaka. And the Malva would have to bring a raya for the 3rd year. Says Rav Kahana, the raya is with the Malva, the 3rd year, and the Leiva would have to bring a raya that it's only 2 years. And the halacha, the Gemara says, is in conjunction with Rav Kahana. Okay. Now, Fred Gemara, the Kaimalon, the Hilchasa Kavase, the Rav Nachman. Let me take you back in time. On Daf Kuf Beis, it seems like a very long time ago. You have a shaila in a shtar. It was written chaydesh, and it was written shanim. In other words, the question is, it's an ibayar. Who gets the 13th month? So over here, guys, it's the 3rd year that's in question. In that case, it was the 13th month in question. Good. So the shaila was: are you toifus lashon rishon or lashon achron? They first do lashon shana, then do lashon chaydesh. If you rent it for the year, then the seicha gets the extra month. If you rent for the chaydesh, then the maschia gets the extra month. Right now, what happens at the end of the 13th month? Right at that time, if the seicha comes at the end of the 13th month, in other words, he lived in it in the 13th month, he has to pay the 13th month. Now, this is guys, an exact analog to our case. Why? Our case, he already ate the 3rd year. He ate the 3rd year of Paris. Over there, he lived in the 13th month. and nonetheless he has to pay for it. So Fred the Gemara, how can you Rav Kahana say that the halacha is like the peri, that it stays in that Rav Kahana, the halacha is like Rav Kahana, that the one who ate the peris, in the case the malva gets it, that he's the muhsik. We see over here that over there it was the one who owned the land is the muhsik. Again, the exact same analog. There you have the shaila is whether you typhus lashon rishon, typhus lashon achron. But here, what's the case over there? You want to know the 13th month who gets it. Do we go after the year and it goes to the seicher, or do we go after lashon chodesh and it goes to the maskir, the balabas? Just get the case. You're gonna get the case perfect. Now, he goes ahead, the seicher, and comes to pay at the end of the 13th month after he lived in it 13th month. He lived in it, right? Now, he has to pay. He has to pay because we say that who owned it? It was a suffix, but he was the Metzia mechaveroi, and he has to pay for that time. So it's in the hands of what? Of the balabas. Over here, you're telling me who's the balabas over here, guys? The loiva is the balabas. He owns the land. Yet you're telling me that what, Rav Kahana, that no, the malva gets it. What's the difference? In both cases, we had a suffix. In both cases, you ate the suffix either by living in it or eating it. And over there, we're saying that it's in the hands of the machzik, and over here in the hands of the Paris. What's your question?
Because here it sounds like the machlokus is who's actually muksub. Who's the
What?
It sounds like our case is who's the muksub. Is it the malva the loiv?
It's the year. The loiv is the muksik. The loiv is always the muksik. The loiv is muksik in year 1, year 2, and year 3. He owns the land. He just gets the Paris, Avi. The malva only eats the Paris. He doesn't own it. He has rights to it, but doesn't own it. It's a mashkan to the sur. You don't have to look. I'm telling you what it is. A mashkan to the sur is a mashkin. Who owns the mashkin? Right? Who owns the mashkin? I mean, in terms of he eats Paris, Avi. So he's muhsik. He's holding on. The shaila isn't who's muhsik. The shaila is I mean, I don't know if it's muhsik. The shaila is who are we going to view as the muhsik vis-a-vis this halacha? So now says the Gemara, there's a difference. Hasam over there, milsa do yavida legluyehi. Over there, it's not a milsa davida legluye. Meaning, guys, we don't know if you go after the lashon of chaydish. We don't know if you go after the lashon of shana. It's not something that can be revealed. We'll always remain with that. Whether you're toughest lashon rishon and toughest lashon achron. Over here, is there a star? Yes. With the Adam on the star, could the Adam possibly come and say 2 years or 3 years? Oh, it's a milsa davidi legluya. It's something that can be revealed. So memela, so over there, milsa davidi legluya, and therefore we'll leave it in the hands of what? Of the muhsik, of the owner of the house or the field. Hacha, it was a merchatz actually. Hacha milsa davidi legluya. And now it's a milsa davidi legluya. If you're going to take it away from the malva, what's going to happen? In other words, it's not a din of muhsik over here, fellas. It's not a din of muhsik. We don't, over here it's the milsa davidi legluya. So we're just going to leave sleeping dogs where they lie. The malva ate it already, we'll leave it over there. What could happen? The Adam show up and they'll say, oh, Tak was 2 years. What are we going to have to do then? Take it away from the loiva and go take it away from a second time? So just leave it there. And if Adam come, then we'll go ahead and take it away from him. It's a very nice Rashi. Let's see the Rashi. Hani milsa davidi the loya vidi gluye. Kloimar. Basa karka vada yislan lemezel. A vada going to go after the karka. Even over here we'll go after the karka. Guys, even in this case, by the loiva we'll go after the karka. There's no question over here who owns it. We know the loiva owns it. Umiu, nonetheless, hani mili besafik. She'ein oimid la'olam lisbarer. Like the case of the merchatz, there's no way to go ahead and clarify. Kiyahu, like this case. The misafkalon beinim tafas lashon rishon. If you go after lashon rishon, shana be tafas lashon achron chaydesh. Aval hacha, but over here milsa avidi legluye. It's something that could be found out. B'soif sheyaviu edei shtar v'yidu. The edim on the shtar, even though the shtar doesn't say the amount of years, the edim know how much it was. So it's something now. And therefore, v'atzricha beidinu trei zimni shem hadim in a malva. Maybe the din is with the malva. And if we're going to take it out of the hands of the malva, asidim anu lachser, we're going to go back the ligveis miyad aloiva, take it from the loiva, lachazman, and give it back to him. So in other words, just leave it as it is and wait for what? So in other words, over there, guys, in the case of the merchatz, if you go if the Chodesh Hashanah, we're talking to be Maimon Cheskasa. Over here, it'll also be Maimon Cheskasa. There's no question over here. Obviously, it's the exact opposite of what you said. There's no question that the Chazaka is by the Loiva. We never had the Shaila by that. The Shaila is, are we going to go ahead and since we can find the suffix out by the Eidim being made, don't do anything. Because why? You might be Matriach Bezdin. If the Loiva ate it already, right? What are you going to take it away from the Loiva? The Eidim at the comment say it's 2 years. Then you're going to go back the whole thing over again? No. Geschmack. Malva oime chamesh, loiva meshalosh. The Malva says 5 years, and now he says 3 years. Now, 3 years already, right? 3 years. If a person's on a field for 3 years, if he wants a taina lekuchi biyadi, we're going to see in Masechta Baba Basra Cheskas Abatim. You always have the taina of I squatted for 3 years. Maybe it's mine. So that's going to come into play. That's going to come into play in the sugya. So Malva Amachamesh and Leiva Amashalish. So Amalei, the Leiva says to the Malva, I see the shtarcha, bring me your star that was for 5 years. Amalei, the Malva tells the Leiva, Shtar irkisli, I lost the star. I lost it. So Amrav Yehuda, Malva Nemon, the Malva is believed. Why is he believed? Migu di boy Amar Lekuchi biyadi, since he could have said, since 3 years passed by, and you didn't kind of make a macha, since he could have said, I bought it, and he wouldn't have to produce a shtar, then he's believed. Okay, guys, so this is a very, very interesting migu. In other words, migu is the koyach hataino. We introduced it, and we've seen it many times. That believe me, because I could have said something better. Believe me, right? Believe me that I'm telling you the truth, because I wanted a lie, I had a better lie. So I'm timing was 5 years. I'm admitting the loiva owns the property, but I'm saying it wasn't 3 years, it was 5 years. Says Rav Nachman, excuse me, Rav Yehuda, we'll believe him, because if he wanted a lie, he had a better lie. He could have said, I bought the land. Where's your star? It's after 3 years. After 3 years, you don't have to produce a star. You're not a star of mechira. You don't have after 3 years. You're not expected to keep in your jurisdiction.
No.
Could be forgotten. I mean, then the whole chesed gabatim does begin, right? According to you. So what's going on? So in other words, says that you have a migu over here. Migu that what you could have said that the star. Believe me, the star was lost and it's 5 years. Migu, I could have said I bought it and I would have held the whole property as mine. That's Rabbi Yehuda's migu. So, Amalei popular Rav Ashi, Rav Zvid, Rav Avira, Leisvir Lahu Had Rav Yehuda. They don't agree with Rabbi Yehuda's migu. My timer, Hi Stara, this star, Kivin Dilagavaina Koi, since this star of Mashkanta, you can collect your payris. What right does he have to collect the payris, fellas? With the star. In other words, a mashkin is the star is a star that I have a right to be here and I can eat the payris. So since the star is for the purpose of collection, a person's very careful in it. And the reason he's hiding the star over here and claiming it's lost. Savar, he said the following. I'll eat, go ahead, what? An extra 2 more years, right? I'll eat an extra 2 more years. And therefore, it's not a good migu. It's not a good migu. In other words, let's look at, guys, let's look a little better. If you have something fighting against the migu and it's strong enough, it overrides the migu. So for example, migu b'makam edim lo yamrinan. If you have a migu and you have edim, so the migu may be a great taina, but if I have edim against your migu, Anan Sahade is a type of migu, is a type of edim. Anan Sahade means it's obvious. Anan Sahade, in other words, Anan Sahade, we testify. That's what it means in Aramaic. Anan we, Sahade, we testify. What are we testifying over here? That this guy, there's no way in the world he's losing the star. If you have everyone who owns a house, anyone who owns is owed money, anyone who you know where that star is. You put it in your safe deposit box, you know where it is. This person knows, in fact, right, that he only was entitled to 3 years to eat. Now he came up with a great idea. I can get 2 more years out of this. If I go ahead and taina that what I lost the star, Migu, I could have said I bought the land. I'm going to get 2 more years out of it. So we throw that out the window. That Migu is Keneged a non-sahade. It's a non-sahade that you're not losing the star. It's a non-sahade that you're not losing the star. Because you need the star to eat, period. For those 3 years, you need that star. So it's non-sahade. So it's a shtickle like a Migu b'mokem edim. So therefore, they didn't like Rav Yehuda's Migu. Therefore, Rav Ashi and Rav Zavid did not like Rav Yehuda's Migu. If you're telling me that this star mashkanta is legavaina, good, and therefore you don't have a migoy, I mashkanta the surah, a regular mashkanta the surah, mashkana surah again, where you're eating the property to pay off the loan, eating the payers to pay off the loan, the kasvi hachi, that you write the following: the mishlam shanya olin, at the end of these amount of years, tepik aradab le kesef. This land should go out without having to pay any kesef, meaning the loan is paid up. Hechi the kavshi l'shtar mashkanta. According to Rabbi Yehuda, if he hides the shtar mashkanta, b'amal kuchi biyadi achanami the mehimna is going to be believed. Is it possible v'chi metakni rabbanon milsa devasi de pseida? Pirish. The Chachamim came up with this mashkanta the surah. Guys, it's a mitzvah to lend money. It's a mitzvah to lend money, right? Yes. Sometimes we know if they love him, people won't lend money. So to facilitate lending money, they came up with a great idea: the mashkanta the surah. Your loan is being paid up. You have a mashkin, and every year you're eating the payers, and now your loan is being paid up. It's a great idea, correct? Now, if you're telling me that Rabbi Yehuda, there's a flaw in the system, how could they be? How is it possible that Chachamim would not go ahead and seen this flaw and allowed it to go through? What's the flaw? Like Rabbi Yehuda, any mashkin the surah, you can go ahead and lie, because you could say unless you write the specific years. You just wrote again. This is one that you said at the end of shinya, end of years. You didn't say a specific amount of years. You can go ahead and say more anything you want, because after 3 years you can find a l'kuchi biyadi. And it doesn't make any sense that Chachamim would go ahead and make such a tool, such a vehicle that has this innate problem in it. So Amalei, so Rav Ashi told Ravina, Hasam Takinule Rabbanon the Mari Arayov Taska the Kari. The other Rabbanon, they made a takana that the lova, the older owner of the land, he would pay the land tax, and he would fill in the ditches or dig the ditches. He would be attacking the ditches. In other words, he can't handle a kuchi biyadi. In other words, there's simonim that show that he's the owner of the land. He has the receipts that he paid the land tax. He works the field a little bit around the field, the chritz, the ditch. So Memela, since he's doing that, the malva can't tie what lekuchi biyadi. Fred Gemara, ara the less they carry of layov taskamai. What about a land that there's no tax on it and there's no ditches? So Amalei Ravashi said, "Iboy leilam chuye." Then the loiva should have gone ahead and made a macha and said, you know what, he should go to Bezdin. What are we going to see in Chesed Sabatim? You go to Bezdin and you make an announcement. This guy is squatting on my field. He's going to want a tiny after 3 years. I'm making a macha right now. I'm complaining right now. So therefore, where you don't have the land tax and you don't have the ditch, then the loiva should go to Bezdin and make a macha to ensure that the malva is not going to say, I bought the land. And what happens if he doesn't make a macha? So the mashkanta, the surah is set up that the malva will be able to take it away. And the Gemara, how much can we expect you to do? You know what? You can't be an Amoritz. You got to know something, right? And then we can't expect you to do more than that. Okay, new Gemara. Similar idea, new Gemara. We've been dealing with an aris, a sharecropper. Sharecroppers get a certain percentage. Sometimes a third, sometimes a quarter, sometimes a half. So Aris Amar Lamechza, the Aris goes ahead what? And he says a half. Yeradati. I went down for half the profits. I only let you go down to the field for the third of the profits. Not half the profits, a third of the profits. Me Neman, who's believed? In other words, who's the muhsik over here? Rabbi Yehuda Omar Balabayas Neman. Rabbi Yehuda says the Balabayas is believed. Rav Nachman Amar Hakol Kaminig Amadina. So who's the Metzia Mechaveh, right? Over here, says of Nachman, it depends upon the minig. If the minig is a third, a quarter, or a half, whatever the minig is. Rabbi Yehuda says what? The Balabayas, whatever the Balabayas says. Savamina, they held to say that loy pligi, there's no machlokes. Haba aser the shakal arisa palgar. Rav Nachman said is din in the place where the oris takes a half. Haba aser the shakal arisa tilsa. Rav Yehuda said is din in the place where the shekah takes a third. So Amalu Rav Mari Bara, the Bas Shmuel, said Rav Mari, the son of the daughter of Shmuel. He said the daughter of Shmuel, remember she had been ma'anis, she was a captive, and she was held by a captive, so we don't call her after the father's name. Hechi Omer Abaya, afilu ba'as with the shakal arisa palga, even in a place where the minig is to take a half, pligi Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda argues. Amar, why? Rav Yehuda Amar Balabayas Neman. The boy Amar schiri v'lekitihu. Right? It's possible he has a migo over here. Believe me, that's a third. Migo, he could have said that guy wasn't an aris at all, and then he's not entitled to anything. Maybe he's just a worker. Maybe he's just a lakiti. Maybe he's just a gatherer. And the Rashi and Kufdalin and Baba Kama says that maybe he's just keeping company, but really he's not being paid at all. So Migu, this is a good Migu. Migu, I could have said he doesn't get anything. He only gets a third. So Nachman disagrees. Rav Nachman says even in a place where what Rav Yehuda disagrees with Rav Nachman, and he says Rav Nachman says Kol K'minig Medina. Rav Yehuda says he has a migu. Can I get that? Can you migu? Can I get minig? You have to get into that. Here you see according to Rav Yehuda that could be just the machlokes. What's more powerful, a migu or a minig? Like Rav Yehuda, the migu, like the Rav Nachman, the minig. Yisaimim Omer. Okay, so now new case. Yisaimim have a land. That land is a meshubit to pay off a chayv. They improved the land. Now the Baal Chav shows up and he's collecting the land from their father had left them with a chayv. The land is meshubit. There's a lien on this land. They improved the land. Who gets the shvach? That's the discussion. Who gets the improvements of the land? Says the Gemara, we improved it and we get it. In other words, when our father died, there was no improvements over here. We improved it, and you don't have a right to this land. Your father improved it now, and I have every right to take it. So al mi lehevi raya, on who's to bring a raya? Now, guys, under discussion over here, is it the money or the land? Let's think this out. Father dies, had a loan. The land was meshubed to pay the loan. And now the land's paying the loan. So whose reshus was this land in? L'chayr was never owned by the assignment. There was a lien on it from their father. It was always belonged to the Baal Chayv. It always belonged to him. So really the question over here is not in deciding who's the cheskes marikam of the land. It's a shaila in the domim. It's a shaila in the shvach. Who gets the shvach? That's really the shaila. And who has to bring a raya then? That's the shaila over here. Who has to bring a raya over here? Amila hevi raya. Who has to bring a raya? Okay. Amid base. So Sava Rab Chanina lemeimar. Rab Chanina held to say, Ara becheskos yasmi kaima. The land is in the chazaka of the Yisayimim. The al Baal Chayv lehevi raya, and the Baal Chayv has to bring a raya. So Amalu who Saba said this Saba. Guys, there's a Taisus in Chulin Daf Vav Amid Aleph. A small Taisus says when who Saba, most of the time it's Eliyahu Hanavi. Yeah. It's a little Taisus at the top. Anyway. Amalu ahu Saba, Hachi Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Ala Yisayimim lehevi raya. It's on the Yisayimim to bring a raya. It's on the assignment to bring a raya. My timer, ara kivin del gavaina kaima. Since this land is there to be collected, kiman de gavya damya. We'll view it as collected. We'll view it therefore in the rishus of the Baal Chayv, and the mele he's muchzik, and therefore who has to bring a raya? The Yisayim have to bring a raya. Yisayim lehemi raya. They have to bring the raya. It's a long Rashi over here. And that's basically over here that the chazaka is that the Baal Chov owns the land, and therefore it's on the Yisraelim to bring a raya.
That's really right, that they did it. They fixed it up, and not their father.
Yeah, well, again, even if the father fixed it up, we're going to see it's not so pashut. Yeah, the question is whether he has to pay it or not. No, here's the shayla, guys, outside. Guys, look at me, eye contact. If he owns the land, he owns the shvach. Guys, listen to this knetch, guys. There is no question that the Baal Chov owns the land. Memela, if he owns the land, he owns the shvach in the land and the improvement in the land. The question is, does he have to pay the assignment for it or not? That's the question. The question is only on the shvach, not on the land at all. And even on the shvach, it's not pshat, they own it and it stays by them. He owns it, and he has to, the question is whether he has to pay them or not. But everything belongs to him. That's the way Rashi learns, guys. You hear the way Rashi is learning. He owns the land. It makes a lot of sense. He owns the land. He owns the improvements in the land. And the question is, if the assignment made those improvements, does he have to pay them for that he owns? Does he have to pay them? That's really the shayla. That's the lumdus to look at it. That's the way Rashi looks at it. Guys, you good? That's the way Rashi looks at it. Very interesting way. So now we have a Gemara. We have a Gemara in Lo Yachpar, in a Mishnah in Baba Basra, Chavdal Beis, outside. You have a tree that's within the certain distance of the city. Okay, if the city came first, then they cut down the tree. If the city came first, they cut down the tree, and they don't have to pay him. If the owner of the tree, was there first, and the city was built afterwards, they cut down the tree, and they have to pay him. Okay, if it's a suffix, who has to bring a raya, right? If it's a suffix, who has to bring the raya? So if the city wants to go ahead, since it's to be cut down, we'll view it what he has to. The one just like over there, we view it what as being cut down. Over here, we view it as being collected. So what? So we see the following. Says the Gemara. My time, we even learned the Mishnah that supports this din. So again, remember, we're viewing it as if the Baal Chov owns everything and the shvach, and the suffix is the way you have to pay the kids or not. Suffix zekadim is suffix zekadim. Who came first, the city or the owner of the tree? Kaitzetz ve'ena noisadamim. You cut it down and you don't pay. Alma kivindel mixes kaima. Amrin lay, we say to him, I see raya b'shakal. So in other words, it's going to be cut down. So you have to bring a raya if you want the people of the city to pay you. So who I did over here, the assignment have to bring a raya. Of course, why? Since it's to be collected, it's considered collected. Guys, one more time outside. One more time outside. Beautiful lam the shashayla over here. Usually, when we speak about what in Sveikus of Mammon, we go ahead and we bring out the svara what hamoitzi mechaveru lov lehevi araya. Someone's muhsik holds on to something, you want to take it away from him. Bring a proof. Bring a proof. Okay, over here, there's a little more to the shaila because in fact, there is no shaila who's the muhsik over here. There's no shaila. Since this land was meshubit, there was a lien on this land to this Baal Chayv from the dead man. He owns the land. Memel, if he owns the land, he owns the shvach in the land as well. The question is, if the Yisayimim had improved the land, then even though he owns it, he'll have to pay them. Even though he owns them, he'll have to pay them. But that's the din. So who has to bring a raya? The Yisayimim have to bring a raya. They want to go ahead, what, and collect. They have to bring a raya. Says Abaya, I have an exact analogy from a Mishnah in what? In Masechta Baba Basra. Over here, what's the analogy? You have a tree, and it's a suffix whether the man came first and the people in the city have to pay him. Suffix the city came first and they don't have to pay him. Good. It's going to be cut down, side by side, no matter what. So therefore, just as the land is viewed as collected, this tree is viewed as what? Cut down. And just like over there, it's viewed as collected, the assignment who want to extract money have to bring a raya. So too, the owner of the tree who wants to extract money from the people of the city have to bring a raya. It's an exact shot. Beautiful. That's an exact, beautiful. Now, the question is, I see Yasmi Raya, Dinu Ashbachu. If they bring a raya that in fact they went ahead and improved it, Savrav Chanina Lameimar, he misalkinin lahu, when the owner, when the Baal Choiv goes ahead and is misalik them, he pays them with land. He pays them with land. However, v'loihi b'demei misalkinin lahu. He goes ahead, he's going to misalik them with money. He's not going to pay them land, he's going to pay them money. How do you know that? Mid Rav Nachman. Dam Rav Nachman, Amar Shmuel, Shleisha, there are three individuals that Shamal Lahem Es Hashvach. We will go ahead, what? And evaluate for them the improvements. Umayla Oisam B'damim. And we'll get them off the land with money. We'll get them off the land with money. And guess what? One of them is Yisayim. The Eluhain, B'chor Lepashit, outside. Guys, we know a B'chor gets Pishnayim. He gets Pishnayim. He only gets Pishnayim in what the father was holding in at the time of his death. B'muchsek. If it's going to come futures, he doesn't get Pishnayim. So here's what happens. The father dies. They didn't divide up the land yet. The land is improved. The B'chor is not going to get Pishnayim in the improvements. What's he going to do now? He's going to go ahead and pay them off. Again, he's going to get Pishnayim, but the land's improved, and he doesn't get Pishnayim in the improvement. So he pays them off. When he pays them off, it's going to pay him off in cash. So that's the first case. B'chor lepashit, pay him off in cash. Now our case, ubal choy b'ksubasisha the assignment. Ubal choy b'ksubasisha. When they pay off the shvach to the assignment, then you're going to pay what? With cash. Third case, ubal choy v'lilekuchis, and a bal choy v'lilekuchis. What happens? About the Baal Choiv, the Lokeach bought the land. You had a loan. There was a shibud on the land. A person took a risk. He bought it. He improved it. Came along the Baal Choiv and is taking it away from him. Good. When he pays off the Lokeach, he pays him with cash. Good. Now we need this last case, guys. We're going to digress to explain this last case. We finished with the assignment. We finished the cash. We put a riot. Beautiful. Now here's the last case. Guys, last case. We have in the Knech over here because there are two individuals. There's a person who went ahead and he had a shibud on this person's property. This loiva then sold the land to somebody. That person's loikeach. Loikeach improves the land, shows up the one who had the shibud and is taking it away. And this land, he's going to go ahead and pay the loikeach in cash. He can't pay him in land. Okay, we needed the second case. The Gemara now is going to digress and discuss the third case. Why does he have to pay Lokeach at all? Okay, why does he pay? Now, you would think it makes sense, right? But why?
We know who made the improvement in that case.
There's no Shiloh. There's no Shiloh who made the improvement. The question is, does he have to pay him or not? So clearly over here we're saying, yeah, he has to pay him and he has to pay him cash, right? But again, we finished with the assignment. Everything was clear, crystal clear, with the Hezbollah being that the Baal Choiv owned everything, including the Shvach. And the question is, if they improved him, he has to pay him off. And that's the exact same case. That's the exact same case as the person with the city, with the tree. Exact same case over there. Okay. Now over here, Fregdig Marakasha. Lememra de Saba Shmuel Baal Choiv Lilkuchas. Let's get to the back, guys. Aleph. Baal Choiv Lilkuchas. Yohiv Shvacha. Does he really have to give the Lokeach? If the Lokeach improves the land, does he have to pay him? Umi Isle Shvacha Lokeach. Does the Lokeach collect the shvach that he put in? The improvements that he put in the land that the Baal Choiv is taking away, does he get anything for that? Vama Shmuel, Baal Choiv Goyves a shvach. The Baal Choiv goes ahead, what? And he gets the shvach. Right? The Baal Choiv gets the shvach. So, so we're questioning you just bought a Rav Nachman, the name is Shmuel, you bought three scenarios. In the third scenario, I'm questioning, Shmuel himself says, what? Does he really say that? Shmuel himself says you don't get shvach. What are you going to say? Like kasha. Kam b'shvach hamagil ksofim. Kam b'shvach shemagil ksofim. If it's reached the produce, has reached the land that you can carry it on your shoulders. In other words, it doesn't need the land so much anymore, guys. That's fine. If it was Paris, of course the Lakeach keeps it. If it was Paris, okay, guys, it reached the point of Paris, Lakeach keeps it. The Baal Chayv doesn't get it. Here it needs the land a little bit. And therefore, I'd say since it needs the land a little bit, right? Therefore, Lekeach has a right to it, and that's where Shmuel says he collects. Kam b'shvach she'en magil ksafim. But if it's shvach that is not magil ksafim, then he doesn't get anything. Again, the crop is so much attached to the land, he's not going to collect anything. So we have a stira. Shmuel says one place when the Lekeach does get shvach. That's speaking where what? That it needs the land, but not so much. And where it does need the land, where it still needs the land completely, then he wouldn't get anything. There's a mice every day. That Shmuel collected what without compensating the Lekeach, he would collect the shvach, even when it got to the point of what almost being totally ripe. So Lekasha, when does what? There's no compensation. That's when the loan, let's say, guys, the loan was $500. The land was worth $250, and the shvach was worth $250. Then he doesn't get anything. Then the Lekeach doesn't get anything because he wants to collect his full loan, the Baal Chayv. Where does Lekeach get money? When the land itself is worth $500 and the improvement is $250. So in other words, there's no svara fellas, guys, outside. Guys, we have a stira in Shmuel. Shmuel says when the Lekeach collects the shvach, he gets cash. One place he doesn't collect the shvach at all. So now we have a teretz, right? What's the teretz? When doesn't he get shvach? When does he get? Is that when the loan is covered, is not enough in the land to cover the loan? You need the land plus the shvach to cover the loan. Then he doesn't get anything. But where the shvach is overboard, the land enough is maspik to cover the loan. Then the extra, and I'm giving a scenario: the loan's 500, the land's 500, the improvement's 250. That 250 he's going to get from cash, and that would answer the stira in Shmuel. Now, here's the question, fellas: a lekeach, a Baal Chov, what is a Baal Chov owed? He's owed cash. He's owed cash. There's a shibud on property. The Lekeach bought the property. The Baal Chov shows up. Can the Lekeach go ahead and buy off the Baal Chov? He'll say, listen, you never went ahead and bought land. You lent money. I'm willing to give you back the money. That was the machlokes, right? Whether he can be masalik, the Lekeach, be masalik the Baal Chov with what? With cash, because that's what they're coming to him. So you're telling me in a case where, guys, what? In a case where the land covers the chayv, and now there's shvach involved over here, and we're saying that the Baal Chayv pays what? Cash to the Lekeach. Good. Let's pick it up over there. So now, the Chiloi Masik Shir Arav Shvacha, where the land covers the loan, and the shvach is extra, the Yole Zuzi Lekeach, Umisalik Le, that what? He gives the money to Lekeach, and the Lekeach leaves. If the Lekeach has cash, Shapir. If the Lekeach cannot get rid of the Baal Chayv with cash, once the loan is defaulted on, the land is his, and he can't get rid of him. If the Lekeach had money, he'd be able to go ahead and stop the Baal Chayv from keeping the land, he can pay him off. The name Olay, let the Lekeach say to the Baal Chayv, "Ihavli Zuzi, if I had cash, I'd buy the land back and get you totally off the land. Hashtag Leslie Zuzi, now that I don't have cash, right? But you owe me because you got to pay up to 250. Havli Griva the Ara, give me what a parcel of land, the Ara Shir Shvacha. So therefore, I should be able to get a piece of land. If the lekeach can remove the balchay by giving him cash, it's shown that the land really didn't belong to the balchay. Guys, I'm a male of the shvach, right? Right. Take a piece. No, listen to the lumdus. Listen to the lumdus. Guys, outside. The Baal Chayv now is coming to the Lekeach who bought the land. And he's saying, listen, right now, right, this is mine. There's a shibud on it. If I hold that I don't have to give you the land, I can pay you off with money, it shows that the land was never yours. What's the svara over here that he gets the shvach? Is because he owned the land. It was meshubit to him. But like the man, the Amma who says you can go ahead, the Lekeach could go ahead and pay him off cash, you see that he didn't own the land. I can get rid of you. So the lumdus over here is if like on the Amar that the Lekeach can go ahead and give him money, it shows that the land didn't belong to the Baal Chayv. And Memela, why does he have to go ahead? Why can't he keep the shvach of the land itself? Why does he give him money? That's the kasha.
This would show that he didn't own the land, just you own the land, but I have the right to buy it now.
If I can be masalik you, it means that you lacked ownership. Once you own something, it's yours. I can view this shibud as one of two ways. I can view it as your land, or I can view your right to collect. Like the man the Omar that you can't be masalik him with Suzi because he owns the land outright. It's meshubah to him, and the shibud creates bias in the land. Like the man the Omar who says you can get Mezuzim, it shows that he didn't own the land in the first place. You have a right in the land. In other words, in terms of first dibs, you would get first, right? Than somebody else, but not necessarily that the shibud creates ownership, right? And what the biggest raya is, I can get you off. Again, you according to you, Rabbi, I'm forcing a sale. I don't want to sell it to you. According to you, he owns the land, but he can buy it from him. Why are you forced to say that? In other words, I don't want to sell it to you. So, if I can go ahead and do it, it's a raya that what? You never owned it in the first place. The mail, if you never owned it in the first place, and the next step is, if you never owned it in the first place, it's geschmack. Then why do I have to take money? Let me get a piece of the land. Beautiful hesper. Okay, very good. So let's see it inside. Says the Gemara. If the Lekeach has money, he still can't get the Baal Chayv off because the Baal Chayv owns the land outright, shapir. Therefore, the Baal Chayv can give him $250 in cash and not land. If the Lekeach had money, you can tell the Baal Chayv, here's your money, go. I paid off, you're paid complete, right? Meaning that's a raya, he didn't own the land. The name of since you didn't own the land, and the raya you didn't own the land is that what I can pay you off. The name of if I had money, I get you off the whole land. Hashta Leslie Susi, Havli Grieva the Arab shares Shvach. At least so why do you have to give me money? Let me take a piece of land. Going to Shavya Nele Apoitaki. You know what? This isn't any piece of land. This is Apo Tehei Koi. You want a loan? Guess what? I need a little security. You know what your security is? This land, that particular land. Apoit the key, apoit the hekai. Everyone's made by an apoit the key and can't be masalik bezuzay. That is what is ownership. The Malay, payment should only be from here, since this is the only game in town. Therefore, there's no possibility of being masalik bezuz, even like that madiyama. Okay, fellas, listen. I tomorrow.